again, fam. This is MG, your Reimagine strategist, and I just want to welcome you to another episode of the Reimagine You Lab Podcast. And as always, I've got somebody that has reimagined life to the fullest tonight. And so I want to thank you and welcome you back to the lab. And so before we dive in, I always want to make sure that you have done your due diligence. So you know what that is. You have already hit the subscribe button. And if you're new to the podcast, I want to make sure that you do that. So go ahead, take your time. I'll give you a second. Hit the button. This way you will always get a notification that it is Friday and a new show has dropped. As well, make sure that you share this with your friends, with your fam, with your colleagues, with your peers. Everybody needs to know how to make change because change is only a choice. Now that we've got all of those little housekeeping things out of the way, now I want to introduce you to the amazing guest that I have in the lab with me today. And she is the incredible, the wonderful, the maximizer, connector, the visionary. Y'all know I don't do that. Y'all know we go beyond the bio here. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. The wonderful, my friend, Rochinda Pickens. Tell them who you are if they haven't been introduced to you already. Tell them where you are, who you are, what you do, how you do
it. Hey, look, thank you for having me back. Thank you for
Absolutely. Having me. You're always welcome here.
Look, I feel like I'm at home. I'm at home.
You are.
I'm just in the couch at home. So I'm honored. I'm honored to be here and listen to you introducing me. I was just sitting there like, okay, who is she? As you know, I'm the girl next door. I'm the woman in the grocery store talking to everybody all the time. I'm known as the crown checker. I am a national best-selling author four times. I am at least four times. I am a wife. I am a nana of 3 amazing grandchildren. I am a mother of 3 grown adult children. I'm the visionary for Kept Woman of God Ministry. I am the owner of Chinden Friends LLC. I'm a philanthropist. I'm just that ordinary girl. I'm the ordinary girl just like you and being led by God. So here I am. Here
you are. Kinda, I love it. I love having you in the lab because you know what? I think that a lot of people never know who people are, where they started from, how they got to where they are. And when I talk about like change is just a choice, a lot of people are like, Michelle, no, it's not. Change is hard. Change it's scary. Changes. But listen, most people don't necessarily know your story. And especially if this is the first time that they may have tuned in and they haven't heard your story, would you mind sharing a little bit of where you started and where you are now? Because they heard all of those things. They see the label right here if they're watching this on YouTube. But visionary author, national best-selling author 4 times, speaker, philanthropist, nana, mama, all of those things. But talk to her a little bit because you didn't just wake up like this, but there was actually some experiences that you had to even start the Kept Woman of God Ministries. Tell them a little bit about what that Kept Woman of God is. How did you get there?
Oh, okay. It's interesting because you're right. People meet you where you are.
Right.
They have no idea what you've been through.
Right.
So Kept Woman of God Ministry was birthed through tragedy. And some people don't know that I've been through a lot. And so back in 2007, I lost my late husband in a tragic car accident. And on that day, December the 22nd, 2007, that's when my life was turned upside down. And so God had to break me down and build me right back up. So where I am today is from all of that hurt, that pain, that disbelief, all of that. And so your podcast is Reimagine. I had to do that. I had to reimagine my life. What does a widow look like? What does a single mom look like? All of these things. What does a visionary look like? And telling you, it was a journey. So sometimes when I'm telling people what I do and all of that good stuff, I'm like, but I haven't always been where I am today. I've
Yeah.
been through some stuff and I had to surrender and say, Lord, use me however you see fit. And Michelle, I'm pinching myself every day because I'm looking around like, really, Lord?
Yeah.
You using this little old woman? And I
Yeah.
go back to where I was, but it was the surrender and the change in the lifestyle, the change in doing things to say, okay, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
So from tragedy to we're not even
Triumph.
saying triumph, but yeah, triumph. So again, I had to embrace that breakdown so I could be prepared for the breakthroughs that we are putting together for women around the world. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
that was just a short version. That was a
Yeah.
short version because a lot of times people don't really realize
Yeah.
I'm just like them.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes in it. I mean, and that is the short version. And a lot of times when you're talking to people, and Shin, I love the way that you are able to encapsulate a story, because when people talk to you, they don't realize it's like you're talking about this, and it's and you've got a smile on your face.
Mhm.
It's then you were talking about this a few days ago. It's like sometimes people get caught in a victim loop,
Right.
and they're talking about something, and my goodness, they're talking about something, and they stay in a place where it's negative. They're hurt all the time, and
Absolutely.
they never have an opportunity to see themselves as the victor,
Right.
even in a story that was hurt. Like it's you cried,
Oh,
you lost your husband.
Yep.
Now, one of the things too, and I want to talk about this a little bit, was because you recently, like, part of the victory was not just for you.
Right.
You have positioned yourself in such a way that this victory is now, the victory that you had is now a showcase for other women that have been through some of the things that you have been through, right?
Right.
And so you just recently had or hosted your 9th annual Kelp Woman of God conference.
Yes. You see, I
And
had to sit up on that one. I was like, I mean, hearing you say 9th year, I'm like, yeah, 9
yeah,
years.
9 years.
Yeah.
You've been pouring into other women, showing them that there's a path that they can go through, that they can. So talk a little bit about where some of that path, because there's a process we talk about. As a matter of fact, one of the ladies that was a part of the panel. Now, this conference, y'all, I've got to just say, and Rochinda, you do an amazing job of bringing the women in, sharing the everybody that you had as a part of the panel and everything. There were, let me just say, it was over 200 and something women there that came and participated there in Kansas City. I had an opportunity to come and be a part of it with you. It was a great time. But talk a little bit. One of the ladies on the panel said, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And that was a part of your process. So talk a little bit about how you there was a car accident, you lost your husband, there was some aches and pains, some hurt, some heartache that went through that. Then there was this time period, this process.
Yeah.
There was a Bible study and a conference developed. Talk a little bit about that.
The process, and the process is real because we're thinking the car wreck was in 07. The first conference was not birthed until 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So some things was going on. So
Yeah.
we're talking about from the car accident to grieving to being poured into, being prayed over, because I was 44. I was 44. I had the 3 children, and I'm like, Lord, what's next? What's next? Not knowing that all of the things that I was getting ready to start doing, it really wasn't about me. It was about other women, but I didn't know that. So
Right.
on this journey, And I'm gonna say on this journey because it was a journey. Because for a good while, people will look at you and you look like you okay on the outside,
Mhm.
but really I wasn't okay. I was still going through the process. I was going through the healing process,
Yeah.
the grieving process, the process of starting over. I remember one time I was in a grocery store and this lady, she said I was single. She said, "You're single." And I took offense to it. And I'm like, "I'm not single. I've been married for 20 years." But in reality, I was single. I was a single mom. She called me a single mom. And I was like, I'm a single mom. And so I had to embrace that of what that looked
Mhm.
like. And so
Mhm.
I remember one Wednesday night, I'm at a Bible study. And again, I'm still trying to figure this out. I know I'm hurting. And I'm like, okay, what do I do next? So I'm at a Bible study. I'm sitting here at the Bible study. They did altar call. And I went down for prayer. I remember being on my knees praying. And I just remember by the time I got up, everybody was already gone. It was two ladies that had been praying over me, and they didn't stop praying over me until I got what I needed. I was still going through it. I was
Mhm.
still surrendering. I was still turning over the hurts and the pains. So I got myself connected to grief counseling, uh,
Mhm.
women that prayed over me, going to see doctors to get me through what I need to go through. And then I had to make up in my mind, it's time to move forward. Because I remember one of the counselors telling me, you can either be a victim or you can live in victim mindset or victor. And I just remember that. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be walking around like poor me, the victim, even
Mhm.
saying that
Yeah.
stuff didn't happen, but I wasn't going to, every time you see me, woe is me. Oh, I didn't went through all this. I mean, Michelle, I never even got to the place where I would say, why me? I never
Yeah.
said, why me? Because I always felt like, why not me? Why would I
Mhm.
want to wish what I went through on somebody else? So
Yeah.
through this journey, I'm connected with different people praying over me.
Mhm.
I knew that God had broken me all the way down and he was building me right back up. But I didn't realize how broken I was. So during this process, I am unleashing all of this brokenness. And at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm looking at myself like, wait a minute. So you've been walking around here for over 44 years, looking like everything is together. So if you have been messed up like that, there's a lot of women just like you.
Yeah.
And so I'm in prayer. I'm praying about what's getting ready to take place because when you know God has allowed you to still be here, you don't want to upset God. You like,
Right.
use me how you see fit. So I'm
Yeah.
constantly saying, God, what do you want? What do I need to do? And
Mhm.
so he said, look, I need you to uncover all of that brokenness. So Michelle, I had to go back to that young
Mhm.
girl. I had to go back to my insecurities, being fearful of everything, being scared, doubting myself. I had to go back to me
Mhm.
not really understanding who I was.
Yeah.
So that's how the name of the conference, Kept Woman of God, was birthed. Because we went from being kept to being kept by God. We talking about two different things. We talking about kept woman of God and kept woman by the world. So the conference was birthed from doing Bible studies, doing growth groups. We started with 6 women. Next year, we went and had a conference. Our first conference was 159 women. And I'm still like, all I'm doing is I'm sharing my story. I'm sharing my story. I'm letting women know there is life after death. I'm letting women know that as long as you are walking around with a mask on your face in denial, then you're not going to ever experience what freedom truly feels like. So we birthed this conference and
Mhm.
I've been going ever since. And I just keep saying, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I don't know what he's using me for. I just say, yes, Lord, use me. Wherever you send
Mhm.
me, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm pinching myself. I'm like, God, you want me to do what? You want me to speak on what? You want me to reach women in this area, this area? And God keeps saying yes, because there are women just like you. There's
Mhm.
women that need to hear your stories. There's women that need to understand that you can start over at any age. I mean, I was
Yeah.
four with
Yeah.
3 children, Michelle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
trust in the process. I'm not going to sit here and say trust in the process was easy.
Yeah.
Trust the process is very, very hard, because you don't know. You don't know what's ahead of you.
Right.
What I know for sure is God got me, because
Yeah.
December the 22nd, 07 at 9:35, my life could have been gone totally. And
Yeah.
so with me knowing that, I'm sitting there saying it ain't nothing that God can't do. So I'm
Right.
gonna trust the process, and I'm gonna keep moving forward and just keep showing up. Keep showing up.
Yeah. No, I think that's real. And I think it's important. I'm glad to hear you say that, because a lot of times we want to know what's on the other side of the process. We want to know what the process is going to be like, so we can decide whether or not we want to go through the process.
Absolutely.
And it's just not set up that way. It's, you have to make the decision that I am going through. And a lot of times you don't even get to make the decision. You didn't get to decide whether or not it was going to be a car accident. You didn't get to decide whether or not your husband was going to be able to come out of it or not. You didn't get to decide whether or not you were
Nope.
going to come out of it or not. But you came out on the other side. The conference was birthed.
Yep.
You're pouring into other women. So tell us about this. So that conference, you're hosting it. You're year number 9. You're getting ready for year 10.
Yeah.
2025 is year number 10. And I know one of the you held it this year at Greater Works over there with Pastor Travis, Bishop Travis, and Pastor Lisa Shockley. Kudos and shout outs to them for hosting it this year. And I heard her say to you, hey, there's not going to be enough room. Like, women are going to come out and support you and be a part of it. And so you've got an ambassadors program that is actually happening this year. And so talk a little bit about, how can people be ambassadors, and what does being an ambassador mean?
Man, well, it's interesting, because a few years ago, I thought about ambassador, but I didn't really know what does that actually look like. Basically, the ambassador program is a program where women commit to bringing more women. It's kind of like you're the mouthpiece of Kept Woman of God, and you're going to connect with your community, and you're just kind of helping us bring the women in. And if we've been growing this conference since 2016, and we're just now introducing the ambassador program, can you imagine? Can you imagine 250 some odd women at the conference this year? If each woman say, I'm bringing me 10 sisters.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that looks like? And God is saying, yes, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. And the thing is, the message that I went through, that wasn't even about me. And that's the good part, because you're sitting there saying, that car accident had nothing to do with you. That car accident was so you can be the mouthpiece and share your testimony, so the women can say, wow, you know what, God is good. So, and God kept us.
Yeah.
And when we're able to talk about God and how he has kept us, it's like, folks are like, wait a minute, let's hear more about this kept woman of God. Let's hear more about the God that kept her and those children, and kind of put all of that in, not saying say it's their life, but it makes them just kind of look back and say, wow, you know what? I've been through some stuff just like her. And it's the same God. It's the same God.
He's got keeping power. He's definitely got keeping power. Because you know what? One of the great things about the conference is that it's so inspirational and it's motivational. It gives you the resources and tools, and you leave out of there so ready and fired up to keep on being kept. Like it keeps you fired up, so people can expect to get the things that they need to build their faith up, to keep
Mhm.
walking in the journey. Like, it's not over. I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel fueled up to do more. So that's the
Uh-huh.
beautiful part about it. So for those of you who are listening in now and wanting to know how you can become an ambassador, definitely reach out to Rochinda at www.rochinda.com. All of the
Mhm.
details are in the links below.
Yeah.
Rochinda, I also wanted to chat with you about, because as another extension of what you do, like, there's just an outgrowth from just the fuel that you do and just kind of the person that you are. You also talked about and shared that there's more to, there's this conference connection that you have, but
Mhm.
you also recently hosted a chosen luxury experience.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That was amazing. I mean, the conference is amazing too, but to
Mm-hmm,
be able to travel, and we did it internationally,
mm-hmm,
to travel out of the country with a small group of chosen women, that right there, for me, I'm very relational. I'm very relational, and I wanted to create a space where it's kind of like it's close, and I get to give more of my time. I get to be more, not one on one, but it's kind of like we in the space of resting in everything that God has for us. So the chosen was launched. It was launched, and I keep saying, God, really? He's blowing my mind. He's blowing my mind to the point where I'm
yeah,
sitting back saying, wow. If it look, and you hate to say you, if you know what you, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have gone through what I went through. But I had to go through what I went through in order for me to have a testimony to talk about what I didn't been through. So
yeah,
I just sit back and I'm like, wow, God, I'm getting ready to hit 60. And you keep opening up these doors. You keep opening up these doors, and we're just walking through them.
yeah,
Being obedient, being chosen, being capable, and being called. And
yeah.
so, yeah, I
You
don't,
got, you got to talk a little bit though about what is the chosen luxury experience, because if people weren't there,
yeah.
they don't know exactly what it is. So give a definition
Okay.
and then help them give a visual. And it's still one of those things where you kind of had to be there,
You got
but
there.
by definition, what is the chosen luxury experience?
Okay, by definition, the chosen luxury experience, it's an experience. It's an experience where when you're actually are there, it's kind of like, I can't explain it, but it's like,
It's a women's self-care retreat.
you're right. And I'm gonna try to get you to think of your, when you think about an experience and it's like a wow. It's
Mhm.
wow.
It
But the
was a
thing,
lot of wow factor to it. Absolutely.
absolutely, but it's a retreat. It's a retreat, and it is designated for the women. And
Mhm.
basically it's everything is hand selected, being
Yeah.
intentional about everything that we do, because we wanted women to come and feel like, you know what, I needed to be here. This is a place of rest. This is a place where you're being poured into. This is a place where you sit back and say, wow, you know what, they thought about every detail, every
Mhm.
detail. It's a place where you don't even know you needed it until you got there. So
Yeah.
it's that experience where you're going to talk about over and over and over. When you look at the pictures and the videos, you're going to be like, wow, that was an experience right there.
It was.
That was
Okay,
an,
so Regina, I'm gonna tell
okay.
as a participant
Okay, you
in
tell it.
this experience. So as a participant, so this was a carefully curated luxury experience for busy corporate women who are executive women,
Hmm.
women business owners, retired women, women who are busy in their ministries, so if whether you're the first lady, a pastor, co-pastor, whether you are a mother and you have lots of responsibilities, you may be a caretaker for a parent, but you are the one who does all of the care for the home, your work, and all of that. People are counting on you.
Yeah.
If you are that person, if by definition you hold all of those titles, because a lot of us do all of that stuff, right? And this experience gave you the opportunity to pull out. So you didn't have, it wasn't a work conference where you went and you had meetings all day. And then you had time that you spent at dinner with your peers and your colleagues and all of it. It was not any of that. There was no, you didn't show up and get your lanyard and your bag for you to put all of your conference materials in and walk around the exhibit floor and pick up all your tchotchkes and all that stuff. It was not that. It was not where you went and it was a ministry conference where you were in sessions in the daytime and then in sessions at night. Yeah. It was not any of that. This was for you to come and actually get to rest, to chill out, to go to the spa, experience excursions, do nothing if you didn't want to. You had all of the refinements and luxuries were there. It was beautiful gifts and ornaments and lots of little beautiful things that were specially picked out and given just to you. I mean, like from the time you got there and they gave you a cooling towel and a drink when you got there. You didn't even have to go to the front desk for them to check you in because there was a private place where you got to check in and get your room keys and all of that. I'm telling you, it was everything was so carefully put together just for you, unlike anything else that you would have ever experienced. And from the time you got to the airport, even before you got to the airport, you got a package in the mail.
Yes.
Listen, a package in the mail that let you know that with a beautiful letter and your luggage tags and your belly band. I'm telling you, like everything from the before you got there to the time you left, and then all of the women that were there as well, everybody, I mean, got along well, no drama, nobody's mad, nobody was let down, like all of your expectations were exceeded.
I'm sitting here smiling because it's kind of like I'm listening to you and I'm just sitting there because I'm like, yes, that's the experience.
Yeah, like you had to be there. Like, I mean, introverts and extroverts. And when I'm telling you, like 19, it was women who were very young to women who were older to, like I said, executive level to women that were coming into, that were graduating college. I mean, like you had every gamut. And the beautiful thing was all of those women were valued. They were visible and they were treated like queens. And they loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. And they loved it. They loved being the center of attention. And they were treated like they were the center of attention. Where do you go and you get treated like that?
At a chosen experience, a chosen luxury experience.
It was beautiful. And St. Kitts was the backdrop and it was beautiful. The Caribbean, it was beautiful. The weather was nice. And I'm telling you, it was nothing like it. You didn't have to hike and do anything physical if you didn't want to, but you could if you chose to. I mean, y'all, listen, they still in the WhatsApp group chat right now, still talking about it. And what's crazy is that we've already got it just about sold out for the next time. And they don't even know the location that they going to yet.
No.
And they've got, all of them got friends because their friends have seen their pictures and they've talked about it with their friends. So their friends is like, you got to take me the next time you go. I want to go too. There's nothing like what this experience was. I'm telling you, women need it.
They really did. And I needed it. I needed
Yeah,
it.
me
Sometimes,
too.
you think about the conference had just taken place 2 weeks prior. It was a place of rest for myself too. And folks like, wait, it was back to back. Were you tired? No.
You got
Look,
restored.
I came back home full. And the thing about it is, this chosen luxury retreat, you came back a better person, a better wife, a
Yes.
better ministry leader, a better business owner, a better friend, a better sister, a
Yeah.
better mother, a better nana. You came back home equipped with being able to say, wow, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a queen. I'm a
Yeah.
queen. And
Yeah.
I got what I needed to fuel me to do just,
Everything you needed to do.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. You know what, Rochinda? So one of the things that was a part of that experience was there's this immersion
Mhm.
that you had that was a part of it too, that oh my goodness, that was profound.
Yes.
Like, yeah, you had this immersion part of it, and I won't even have you go into all of the details, because there has to be some mystery and
Yes.
some things that you just have to hold. But one of the things that was in there is that everybody doesn't journal, but you did an amazing job of sharing a journaling experience as part of it as well. And I think you were sharing that you've got a chosen journal, and
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about this journal that you have? And I think you said that you're going to be doing you're going to be doing a class on the journal coming up soon,
Yeah.
right?
Starting in June. Starting in June.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see it, but this is a journal.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I really like that part. Richard, why don't you talk a little bit about the journal that you created here, and how journaling has helped you and how you are helping other people? Just give them a little snapshot of kind of what you're going to be talking about with the journal in this master class that you're going to be launching here soon.
Yes. See, the journal, a lot of times people don't journal. I would write a little bit here and there, but I was never like a big journaler until the last few years. And the thing is, this right here, this journal, it gives you step by step, even how to use your journal. Because some of the women, they were like, they don't journal. They don't journal. And it was like,
Mhm.
oh, there's going to be a process to it. So you start with your intentions. What is the purpose of the journal? This tells you set a clear intention. Then you have another step where your personal manifesto. Write your personal manifesto or set affirmations. I mean, since I've been back, I've been doing my affirmations.
Oh yeah.
You
Do
know, yeah, just doing
Yeah.
it and just excited. Is like, yes, I'm going to affirm everything that God has given me and that He has equipped me with. Then there's another step, your regular reflections. It's an area where you can do self reflection, just to go back to what was happening during the week or what was happening during the day, what was happening 5 minutes ago. You just kind of do a self reflection.
Yeah.
And also in the journal is goal settings.
Mhm.
Utilize the
That's
goal
important.
setting pages. And that is very important because as you being an author, I had to set goals. I had to set goals on how many pages I need to write, how many books I need to sell. This journal will hold you accountable because you're going to write down those goals. Then it's another area, mindful practices, engaging in mindfulness exercises. I'm skipping through it. I might be going a little bit fast. Then we
Mhm.
have the empowerment questions. Then we have self-care rituals.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a whole how to use this journal. Monthly reflections, being able to be creative. Sometimes you might not want to draw out, not even draw, you might not want to write out a long paragraph, but you might decide you're visual and you might decide to draw some, kind of like doodling. You
Mhm.
can do that in your journal. Then there's an area about the affirmations, Michelle. This journal, y'all, it is
It's
amazing.
good.
It
It's
really
good.
is. And it'll have you just going back saying, wait a minute. Even from the beginning, start there. A lot of times we don't know where to start. This journal's telling you start bare. That means clean slate.
Yeah.
Just store it. You got to store it somewhere.
Yeah. Chinda, why don't you ask a couple of the questions that are in there, like just to give them a little sample of what they can expect.
Okay.
Because sometimes people think that a journal is just a book. You open it up and it's a lot of blank pages, and so they got to put their whole mind down. But sometimes you need some questions to get you to draw some things out of you. And that's one of the things that I really liked about the journal, is that you kind of ask some questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for an example, on the one page where it says get bare, let's get intimate. One of the questions, away for a weekend, where are you? What brought you here? We just went to St. Kitts, right? So therefore, this was the time to ask those questions. Where are you? You write down, where are you? What brought you here? You can go into details. And then at the same time, on the other column, it says truth about you. What would you like to experience while you're here? So think about it. You write down you're in St. Kitts. And then in the other column, what is it that you want to experience? So you write down what, if it was peace that you wanted to experience in St. Kitts, then that means that's what you're going to be in search for. But this journal allows you to reflect, write it down, and then kind of like take it all in. Because it's kind of like, if you're going to write down, you would like to experience peace, and you in St. Kitts and you're finding yourself doing a lot of other stuff opposite of peace, then that means maybe peace is not what you're looking for. Maybe peace is not what you want. Because if I'm writing it down, then that means I should be intentional about the things that I want to do and the things that I want to involve myself in.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. And here's the other thing too. You don't have to go to St. Kitts to do this.
Mm-mm.
You can be at home, but maybe there's some place that you would like to go.
Right.
And you can visualize yourself there. If I was to go to wherever that place is for you, or maybe it's in your backyard. Right. Maybe it's in another place in your home. Or maybe it's in, if you're in Kansas City, I know we used to like to take little short trips to Branson.
Uh-huh.
Wherever it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the Caribbean. It could be right at home.
Right. Now, and here's another question. I mean, think about it. Do you consider yourself an extrovert or introvert? That's a question that sometimes we don't ask ourselves that. And then once you kind of just in that question alone, it might have you to just start thinking and reflecting about, okay, maybe this is why I deal with different people different kinds of ways. I mean, this journal will have you thinking, will have you asking yourself, okay, let me go a little bit deeper. Let me go a little bit deeper.
Can I say something to that introvert extrovert question? Uh-huh. I'm an extrovert, but I like to practice being an introvert sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, like I like to practice being an introvert, because sometimes I can be so out extra that sometimes I need to have time where I need to just bring it all in.
Right.
But like Rochinda was saying, like it gives you an opportunity to spend some time with you.
Yeah. And again, Michelle, even with that, I remember a few years ago, I took it was like a test or something to kind of tell me the type of person I was. And when you're dealing with coaching different people, you kind of, if I'm kind of over the top and my client is more laid back, I have to bring my energy down. Right. Because it can be overwhelming to some people. But again, I had to learn that. It wasn't until someone said, well, Rochinda, you know what? If you're like, over the top, and you're talking to someone who is laid back, they might not open up to you as much because you have already overwhelmed them with all of your excitement. So I had to learn, dealing with
it back.
I had to dial it back.
Yep.
So yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So, Rochinda, you said that keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You had
no,
something
you're
else you were going
good.
to share.
No, I think that was good. I mean, it's so many, Michelle. It's so many questions. Do you think you're unique and why? Sometimes we don't ask those questions. You say, yes, you think you're unique. Okay, tell me, what are you unique? What's unique about you and why?
Yeah.
This journal will have you really thinking more on the inside, more on the inside. So I love
Yeah.
it. I
It's
love it.
good.
Everybody else is going to love it too.
It is a good one. It is definitely a good one. So you're doing a master class in June
Yes.
called Jump. And
Mhm.
that's going to be June the 8th. Is it June 18th? Here, let me get the date
Okay.
because I want to make sure we give people the correct date. Actually, it is June the 15th, not June the 18th. It's June the 15th. You'll be doing the Jump Masterclass, and we'll make sure that we give people details on how they can get into the Jump Masterclass, and then you'll be sharing the details on them being able to go that because it's 5 weeks that the journal class is going to be going on, but you'll introduce it on June the 5th. That's going to be a good one. That is going to be a good one. We definitely want people to sign up.
We want them to jump. Just jump.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Jump into journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Jump into the journaling. No, I think that I love that, Rochinda. I love what it is that you are doing. You also have, whenever I'm talking to you, I always feel like, girl, this girl is doing dynamite stuff. Amazing stuff. So, all right, before we get out of here, because I'm like, wow, the time just keeps going, ticking. But one thing before we get out of here, there is one other thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about, and that is you have a new project that you are going to be, and we're going to bring you back so that we can talk about it in depth because we got a few minutes and I want to make sure that we talk about it real good. But you also have, because you are the crown checker, you've got a new project that you're doing called Royal Reverence that is going to be launching this summer. And so give us a snapshot about Royal Reverence, and because we're going to bring you back. Royal Reverence, girl. What is
Royal Reverence? It's my heart. Royal Reverence is my heart. A lot of times, if you follow me on social media, you probably see me always. I'm telling you, girl, check your crown. Because for me, that's accountability. And although I'm saying, girl, check your crown, I'm talking to myself. And basically, Royal Reverence, it's a book. And it's basically going to take you on a journey of what does a queen, what does that look like? What is royal reverence? We're going to talk about, integrity, noble, again, self-respect. We can't walk around saying we're blessed and high. We can, but walk around saying we're blessed and highly favored and we're lacking integrity. Royal Reverence is just going to have you you read the book and at the same time you're like, okay, I got it. What does it take? It even talks about being a queen. Owning your own community, not somebody else's community, your own community. And speaking on doing, I mean, again, you think about social media allows you insight of everybody else, but as Royal Reverence, we want to own our own stuff. We want to be able to show up and say, you know what? This is Royal Reverence because the queen that I am, God has given me all of this. So it's a position. It's a position, and it's a position that we have inherited. Let's talk about the gift. God gave us this gift. And so Royal Reverence now is in a book, y'all.
Yes.
I love it. Through the pages and you like, oh, I speak about affirmations. I'm talking to myself, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? I have to speak those words to myself. Royal Reverence is giving you a insight on what does the queen really do when she's not on social media. How
Yeah.
does she act? So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because
Yes.
it's
We
here.
got, yeah, we got to bring you back where we just talking royal reverence, because
Yeah,
there's a lot of reverence not being given to the royal.
absolutely. You're right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in depth. So
Yeah,
we're gonna just dedicate a show to royal reverence. We got to, because that one's gonna be fun. But
yeah.
I love it when you come to the lab, and we always have a great time. It
Uh-huh.
is always a beautiful time whenever you come in. So, but before I let you go, I always ask every guest before they leave, give me your top 3 things of what are your top 3 pieces of advice when you're talking to people. We've talked about being a kept woman of God, going from that breakdown to that breakthrough, Rochinda, all those things, this chosen luxury experience that you have put together so carefully curated
Mhm.
for women to be able to do their self-care. Before we leave out of the lab today, what are the top 3 things that you would give every woman before you go?
Okay, the top 3 things. First of all, I would tell her, embrace that breakdown. Embrace the breakdown. Look it dead in the face. Don't run from it. Don't run from it. Look it, acknowledge it, embrace it, because it actually prepares you for your breakthrough. The second thing I would tell a woman is you can start over at any age. You can. And to speak saying you can instead of saying you can't. So I would tell a sister, say you can. You can. The third thing would be, then do it. Start. You done told yourself you can. Now you need to hit the play button and start. Start, jump, go. Because I'm no different than you are. I started over at 44. I'll be 60 in October. And the only reason why I'm able to keep moving forward is because I say I can. I can.
Right. I love it. Chinda, it's always a pleasure having you in the lab. Thank you for being here. Mwah. Kisses to you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, our listening audience, I always love it when you tune into these shows. You help me build the best audience. So please make sure that you are tuning in every Friday when we drop an episode. I appreciate you. You have gotten me over 10,000 followers on Instagram. You have gotten us over our 2,000 viewers on YouTube. Help us keep making these milestones on Spotify. I think we have hit our 2,500 mark. So help us continue to grow. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love you all. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, share this podcast with any of your family, friends, peers, and colleagues as well. Make sure you tune in each Friday for the new episode. Thank you once again. God bless you. And I will see you back here in the Reimagine You Lab podcast. I'm signing off. It's MG. I'll see you next week.